So back out here at the mulch pile spot. I'm dressed in some rags that I pulled out of the garbage. Yeah, we're going to try and sort it out a little bit today, make it a little bit more usable. At the moment it's pretty rough around the edges. Hopefully get a few clips, maybe not, see what happens. So this is the setup as it stands at the moment. I found this, I think used to be a marker for a golf hole. So I'm using that as a takeoff. I've got it fastened with this good sized bit of concrete. I've got a few sticks and some rocks underneath it to make sure it's good and solid on top. So I've got a nice takeoff. And then down here I've just dug up some mulch to make a nice soft landing with my trusty stick. All there is to do now is sesh it. I want to talk very briefly about the mindset that I brought into today's training. When I was drilling this exact same move the other day, a scoot double, I noticed that when I look back at the footage, the very first attempt that I made was the nicest looking attempt of all of them. In terms of my shape in the air, in terms of just the aesthetic appeal, the first attempt was the nicest. And it wasn't the one that I landed. The one that I landed, you could see that my position in the air, my legs were bent, I'd thrown my head early, my shape was all off axis, whereas the first one I had like quite a nice, tight, straight twisting position. And I think the key difference between the two was that on the first attempt, I didn't know how the trick was going to feel. So I focused entirely on coming out of the scoot and pulling straight up into that nice, straight twisting position, and then whatever happened next happened. Whereas on the latter attempts, I had way more focus on actually trying to get my feet over, landing feet first on the ground, and you could see it in the way that I performed the move. When I did it, my head went immediately and my legs were bending in the twist, which shows that I was trying to like get the flip to happen a lot quicker. And I think the effect that it had was the whole thing felt a whole lot more disjointed. So what I came into today's training with more of a focus on was I wanted to focus entirely on my shape in the air. I didn't want to focus on landing the move, I wanted to focus on my shape in the air. So as soon as I came out of the scoot, the first thing I wanted to think was stand up straight, lock my legs, keep that nice tight twisting position. And I think as a testament to how effective the change in mindset was, the very first one that I attempted, I over-rotated. And I never over-rotate scoot double. Even off the kind of height that I'm using, I never over-rotate a scoot double. So I think by focusing on that shape, the whole move just felt a lot more fluid, a lot more joined together, whereas normally it feels very disjointed. And I put less effort into the first one, than I would normally put into a scoop double. Normally I put absolutely everything into whacking it round, whereas this time, the first attempt, I just pulled and focused on the shape. I over-rotated it. So I think if there is a trick that you're struggling with and struggling to land, something that you can do to sort of change the way your training works is stop trying to focus on landing it. Stop trying to focus on getting your feet on the floor and start focusing on your shape in the air, because the shape that you perform is such an integral part of whether or not the skill works. Peace.